Here's a typical bunch of kids getting some good, healthy outdoor exercise while at school. But what will these kids do for fun when they get home this afternoon? Odds are they'll go inside to play with one of these things, a Nintendo Game Boy or an NEC Turbo Express. It's hard to find a 10-year-old boy who doesn't love to play video games. Today we'll take a look at the fascination and the technology of computer games on this edition of the Computer Chronicles.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by the Software Publishers Association, which reminds you it's a federal offense to copy software. The SPA provides information on how to stay software legal. Funding is also provided by PC Connection and Byte Connection, and by Byte Magazine and Fix.
Welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stuart Chaffee, and with me this week is Paul Schindler. And Paul, we're playing the original video game. This is Pong in its first commercial version called Odyssey. And this goes back 14 years. And this is what a video game console used to look like. These are what the cartridges here used to look like. They weren't very complicated. This was the old controller. If you help me, though, we're going to jump ahead 14 years. And, of course, this is Super Mario on Nintendo. Video games have changed quite a bit, obviously. The question when we talk about computer games and video games, I think for parents, Paul, is they're concerned that kids are addicted to this. What is your view? Is this a bad thing for kids to be playing this, or is there a good side to it?
I think there's a little of both, Stuart. I think, like all good things, video games should be taken in moderation. I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Brothers, Tetris, and Rad Racer. The winner with the highest
interface, developing comfort, and some people even say developing reflexes.
Right. All right, well, we're going to take a look at the latest technology in video and computer games, both hardware and software. We'll look at the new Nintendo competitors in the video game console market, NEC's TurboGrafx and Sega's Genesis. And we'll see the newest generation of computer games on a CD-ROM. Unless you think this computer game business is just for kicks, Nintendo now holds a kind of national Olympics for players of Tetris, Super Mario, etc. We're going to start out with a visit to the Western Regional Nintendo Finals held recently here in Oakland, California.
It was a dream come true for die-hard Nintendo fans. Over 10,000 of them packed the Oakland Coliseum when the Nintendo World Championships rolled in as part of a 9-month traveling extravaganza.
The Nintendo World Championships, its first year out, was really an idea that's been conceptualized about 2 years ago, brought out by demand of the players themselves, who seem to be socially interactive. They want to know who the best are. They're playing against with their families, with their peers, their friends. This is a way to bring Nintendo out of the house and into a show, and really give those kids the spotlight that they deserve.
The players were divided into 3 age groups and competed in Super Mario Brothers, Tetris, and Rad Racer. The winner with the highest combined score earned a spot in the finals in Hollywood and perhaps a shot at electronic stardom. The 3-day event also featured a power walk that highlighted brand new Nintendo games not yet on the market. Game counselors were also on hand to give tips to kids on improving their game skills. Such innovative marketing has helped keep Nintendo on top.
The keys of the success to Nintendo is the fact that they're always ahead of the market. In other words, they're always introducing new games from some of the hottest movies, some of the latest trends. They're always keeping one step ahead of everybody.
Figures from Nintendo show it expects to sell fewer units of its entertainment system this year. But by the year end, Nintendo also expects to have a place in nearly 30% of all U.S. households. The company's success clearly lies in churning out the popular software titles to run on those machines.
I think the success of Nintendo will go on forever, really indefinite, because it's like having a VCR in your home. Once you have the hardware, you have this choice of software. There's some over 450 games now, and with the Game Boy, there's some 700 games out there. So the choice will always continue once you have the game in your home.
For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Kate McGargy.
Computer games can be educational, and one good example is the newest game from Maxis called Sim Earth. I'm here to demonstrate the game.
4 nights, if I can get the mouse up here.
Arcade to find out.
The road to success is a bumpy ride, fraught with complicated twists and turns. But ask any of the kids here why they play, and the answer they give is simple.
It's pretty fun. It's kind of hard, though. I just like playing it in school. It's fun, like, you like play basketball and you punch each other.
This video game arcade in Mountain View, California is typical of those scattered around the country. Children pile in shortly after noon on weekends to match wits with an electronic bad guy. For about 75 cents, they shoot, punch, and hammer their way to victory. The store manager says it's a way for the youngsters to unwind.
The adult goes out, he socializes, he relaxes with his friends. When they come here after school, relieves tension, and they're able to have fun. The child needs a place to vent frustration, and it's better to vent the frustration playing one of these games than to go out and vent the frustration on a peer and end up maybe in trouble with the local authorities, and that we don't want.
This arcade boasts about 60 game consoles, and it rakes in over 2,000 tokens every week. That's 25 cents per token, but not all of that money comes from the kids.
The kids come here and they can do practically anything, and I'm a grown man and I can't do this. And it frustrates me, but it's a lot of fun, you know.
The arcade occasionally uses gimmicks like a birthday or retirement party to pull in customers, but what could be the real reason they come to play video games at an arcade?
I want to board my Nintendo.
For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Kate McGargy.
Well, Nintendo has sort of owned the video game market for the past several years, but new 16-bit game machines from NEC and Sega are challenging Nintendo. Here to show them off are Al Nielsen, Vice President with Sega over the years.
But the important thing is this really demonstrates